Underdog is the title of our game, where our protagonist, Gato, is having an existential crisis because he's a dog in a world of cats, and he gets bullied a lot. So he decides to kill the king! I was not responsible for this plot. The game has been going well, it's quite advanced and will soon be completed, but making the game actually work was not my job this time around. Instead, I was mostly in charge of the animations for the final boss. But let's go step by step on this. As the main character of our game, Gato needed a lot of animations, and so we decided to split the work. I was in charge of the crouching animations, both with and without a gun. Now, you may be wondering what the gun actually is. The gun is some sort of ranged attack. In the original game, it was, well, quite literally, a gun. We couldn't have this in our current game, because it wouldn't quite fit with the entire aesthetic, so we decided to make it some sort of magic projectile. Rocks are a background object that can be found outside the castle. I volunteered to make these decorations. I should know how to make a rock. I have a rock collection. The rocks may seem a bit too blue. That's because of the snow-themed environment. The thing about rocks is that besides white, black and grey stones, they tend to have warm colors such as yellow or red, and I figured that having these colors on screen would not completely fill the rest of the aesthetic. So I chose a low blue in order to give a cooler sensation to these items. I especially like the one with the axe. It took a surprising amount of effort to make due to the limitations of the pixel art. When discussing the enemies, I decided I wanted to make one, and after much back and forth, I ended up picking the final boss without even realizing it was the final boss. Until that point, we hadn't decided on the specifics of the story, so finally having a final enemy was a good step forward. Paco Gato offered a good challenge to my thinking skills. Due to the inspiration of the game, we decided that the final boss would be readapted as Greater Dog from Undertale. I agreed, so I got to work. So first I needed to redraw Greater Dog so that it would fit in with the rest of the game. This was very hard for me, and redrawing something is not an easy task. Now, I may not have any sort of drawing skills, but I have a friend in the group that sure has that. So I asked her to do the atlas, and so she did. It was just a single drawing though, so I had to separate every part and redraw some stuff to do the atlas in order to prepare for the animations. The gunner has 3 attacks, a beam attack, a grenade launching attack, and a lightning attack, together with the cutscene, disabling, walking, idle, and death actions. There were 8 animations total that I had to adapt from the gunner to Paco Gato. So once the atlas was completed, I got to work. The walking and idle animations were simple, and once I got to it, I completed them in no time. And I had a vague idea about what I wanted to do for the other 3 animations. The main problem came when adapting the attacks. For some reason, my first ideas did not quite grow on the group as I expected. I don't know what all the fuss was about, but then I started thinking about it not with the mind of a developer, but instead with the mind of a warrior. I do the sport called Soft Combat, a sword fighting game of sorts. So once I stopped thinking of it as a developer, but instead adapting my own moves into the character, it all came much clearer. These are the results, and although they may be a bit choppy and not as smooth as it would be ideal, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Still, I had to add a couple of extra frames. It wasn't easy, but with some help of my teammates, I got it running before the deadline. And that's everything I have done during the project, besides what would be stuff like documents and other similar things. Thanks for watching.